Why do I read tarot, and what space does the spiritual have in such a political time? Let's talk about it. So, as you've heard me say many times, I am indeed a witch, and I have been practicing witchcraft, studying astrology, and using the tarot for decades at this point, a very long time. And I've recently started offering readings to my followers. Unlike what my scam accounts have been saying, I will never contact you first. Just keep that in mind. And a lot of people have a negative reaction to things like astrology and tarot because we live in essentially an atheistic society that still keeps all of the negative things about the Calvinist Christianity which started it, including a disdain for anything which smacks of the supernatural. And I believe in magic, but magic isn't what you think it is. And it's not exactly the supernatural. It's very much natural. What the tarot is at base is 78 cards, each of which deals with a different aspect or facet or factor of life. And it's something that is universal. Every one of us is going to have to deal with one of the, well, all of the things in these cards at some point in our life. What we're doing is we are selecting them in order to draw attention to one of those things. And then, however many cards we draw, we relate those things to each other based on what the question is or what the thing is that we are looking for a bit more insight on. Now, is it random, the card that you get when you ask a particular question? Yes, but there's 78 cards, and you get the card that you get, and you don't get any other, right? It could be meaningless, or we could let ourselves attach meaning to it in order to give ourselves more insight on the world. That's all we're doing, is trying to give ourselves more insight into our lives and to essentially look outside ourselves for a little bit of help in getting those answers. And we do that all the time. We do that with friends. We do that with therapists, right? But we do it in ways that are attached to things which we give more credit to, right? And a lot of the credit that we give things is based on the terms of this system, not ourselves, not on our actual connection to each other or to spirit or the universe, which is very much not a magical thing. Our connection to the universe is very real. We are not separate from the universe. We are part of it. And no matter what you believe, that's just true. The reason that I've started reading tarot is that we have conceded a lot of space to essentially the alt-right pipeline with spirituality. And spirituality is supposed to be inherently leftist. The reason that they burned witches was not because they were doing bad things. It's because they were actually healing people and teaching people connection and getting people what they wanted to, helping them with, say, ending unwanted pregnancies and things like that. Things with, as the world essentially became more controlled by a certain kind of heteropatriarchal hegemony that they didn't want people to have access to anymore. And what they first did was they got rid of that way of knowing from everybody in Europe. And then after they did it to people in Europe, they took the show on the road. And we still have, no matter what we believe, whether we're atheists or Christians or anything like that, we still keep some of the ghosts of that essentially destruction of our connection to spirit within us. And unfortunately, a lot of atheists believe things like this are quack work or charlatan work and don't look at it scientifically, right? Like with astrology, you can actually do hundreds of charts yourself. And if you look, you will see that trends begin to emerge. Now, I, and no one who is worth their salt, is going to tell you why that appears to be a thing, but it's a thing to look at. And if there is knowledge that you can gain from, why not gain from it? Booking a reading with me is going to be a lot just like us having a conversation, but I know that I have a strong connection to the universe, to the gods, whatever you want to call it, because it's something that I work on every day. And it is part of how I understand things. And it's not as out there as you think. It's not nonsensical. It's not totally fanciful. And when we talk, when we do your reading, it is a give and take in which I give you what the cards are saying, and then you help relate that to your life, and we help you make sense of things. Really, all it's about is it's us helping us understand each other, and you understanding where you're going, what you need, and getting a little bit of guidance that is not apolitical, that is decidedly political, and with a person who understands the world and is not going to gaslight you about why a lot of the things that are happening to you are happening. A hard truth for us, since we have grown up in such an individualistic world, is that most things are outside of our control. That's unfortunately just how it is. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, especially when we understand, first of all, the political undercurrents, but also the energetic undercurrents, right? There are some things that are just like weather. There are times that are good times to do things, bad times to do things, and it doesn't tell you not to do them. It doesn't tell you what to do, what's definitely going to happen. It's just making yourself a little bit more aware of how easy or difficult it might be and working with that rather than against it or ignoring it. I don't do reversed cards because I believe that this is all about volition. So what you do with the information that we come up with is up to you. If you decide to make good choices, if you decide to do your best, then you'll get a better outcome. And even if it's a bad card, you can still get a better outcome if you work with it and are a little bit forearmed. And if you decide, forget about it, or I'm not going to do anything or make any changes, you'll get what you get, whether it's a good card or a bad card. So book a reading with me and let's see what the future has in store. Or more importantly, let's see how you're going to help shape the future that you want and that we all need.